For more analysis on what's happening in the commodity universe, let's go across to Peter McGuire, Chief Market Strategist of FX Global Capital, joining us on a phone line from Sydney. Thanks, Peter, for joining us this morning on NDTV Profit. Peter, 4.5% gains came in for crude last week. This week, of course, or this morning rather, we're seeing some sort of easing coming through. I want to get from you whether this is a good opportunity to buy crude at the current market price. Is it a short-term blip, or does it seem like there could be some sort of trend reversal now? Peter, what's going on in crude prices? We saw a gain of about 4.5% last week. This morning, though, crude's not looking very strong. Would you use this as an opportunity to buy crude prices, buy crude at the current market price, or are you thinking this could be a possible trend reversal?
Good morning, and thanks for inviting me on the show. Yeah, I think we've got some more upside for certainly the crude market over the coming week or two preceding Easter, and I think that will continue during May and June. So, from where it's sitting at the moment, I'm very positive that you'll take probably 115 to 120 out, certainly 115 by Easter, and I'd say we'll be through 120 well and truly by this time in May.
Peter, what's happening in coal, right? I mean, I believe gold and silver traded at a 31-year high. There is expectation of a further surge coming in on those precious metals on back of the dollar weakness as well. Would you be buying gold? And if yes, and if I could ask you, would you prefer gold or silver? What would be your pick?
Well, look, they're both magnificent. Silver's been outstanding since, the early part of September when it was sitting at $19. It's up about 110% since then. I think there's probably more upside, but they're very, very toppy. You've got to be very careful, have your stops locked in, and you could see, further, 10 or 15% for both of those. I'd say by the end of the year, though silver, the way it's going, is just on fire. So, it could be, there's every chance you could see 42, 43 within the next, I'd say, month and a half to 2 months. But one's got to expect some form of pullback. Or, a volatile time if you see any strengthening in the US dollar.
Right. Anything in the base metal space, Peter, that you like? Because copper's also looking fairly well placed, right?
Yeah, copper's been a standout. That's, nickel, lead, zinc, aluminium, tin. So copper is certainly doing a little bit better than a lot of them. I think copper, that's where my focus has been, and I think you're probably looking at a little bit more upside for that market as well.
Peter, very lastly, if I were to ask you for what you'd go long on right now in terms of which commodities, and of course, what is it that you'd avoid or probably go short on?
Well, I think what I'd go long on at the moment would have to be, I'd say crude. I'd certainly say crude over the coming, month or two. I think there's probably more upside for that particular market. And where you're looking at as far as gold, and I will say there's the corn market. I think there's probably a little bit more upside in that particular market due to high prices of fuel, and silver and gold. Yeah, those particular markets at the moment. I think that's really what my focus would be on.